Good evening, Alex. Honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, as a Scottish American citizen, I'm honoured to be asked to propose this toast to our country. And for those of you who know me and have heard me talk at other Scottish gatherings, I promise this will be brief. I believe in the spirit of the Constitution. I sign an oath to it. And I agree with Carol Schurz, who, like me, was another immigrant in the 19th century. He came to the States in the 19th century from Germany and went on to become a respected American statesman, journalist and reformer. At a social event very much like this one, Schurz expressed his hopes and beliefs for his adopted country. Our country, when right to be kept right, when wrong to be put right. To the United States, where each man is protected by the Constitution, regardless of whether he's ever taken the time to read it. And this evening we celebrate the birth of Robert Burns, a man who came to prominence just as the founding fathers were drafting the Constitution. We would be aware that Burns was a fan of the New Republic. The new country seemed to epitomise the ideals he espoused in his letters. Pieces such as his Ballad of the American War demonstrated his knowledge and understanding of the war's preface, start and final outcomes. His love of liberty and admiration for the first President of the United States, who he believed embodied his own beliefs, was unbounded. So much so that less than 10 years after the end of the Revolutionary War, Burns had been invited to a private dinner, and after a toast was proposed to the Prime Minister, William Pitt, Burns felt the need to reply to the toast. Burns rose and proposed the toast thus: a bumper, that's a full glass of whiskey, a bumper to the health of a much greater man, George Washington. He nearly got killed for that. A guy challenged him to a duel. But so, ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of Robert Burns, and every immigrant citizen who's come to this country, been made welcome, prospered, and proud to be a part, like Burns, I challenge you to be upstanding, raise your glass, and the toast is the United States of America.
My heart's in the Highlands, my heart is not here. My heart's in the Highlands, a-chasing the deer. Chasing the wild deer and following the road. My heart's in the Highlands wherever I go. Robert Burns, 1789. So what crosses your mind when you think of Scotland? Bagpipes, Highland games or dancing, tartan, kilts, haggis, whiskey. Is it her writers and poets like Robert Louis Stevenson, J.M. Barrie, hat tip to the Gordons, Sir Walter Scott, or our beloved Robert Burns? Maybe for you, it's the bravery of William Wallace or Robert the Bruce, and the part they played in the formation of this country and her battle for independence. Let me tell you of my love for this unique land that ever woos me and begs me to come a little closer and linger a little longer. From the quiet banks of Loch Ness and Loch Lomond, to the soaring cliffs on the Isle of Skye, to the breathtaking beauty of the Highlands and the somberness of the Culloden battlefield. Across the sea to the raw and unspoiled isles of Harris and Lewis, I am awestruck. My first trip to Scotland was in 2001, and I had a visceral reaction I still experience every time I go back. I catch my breath, and I feel like I can't look enough or breathe in deep enough to capture it all. Her rolling hills and ancient castles, her bagpipes haunting melodies echoing from the corners of cities and countryside alike, her scattered crofts and bothies all beckon me to return to another time and place. But above and beyond the physical beauty of the land, her people best exemplify Scottish heritage and culture. Her history unmistakably reflected in their generous spirit and wonderful sense of humor. Whether asking for directions or seated in a cozy pub listening to their stories and sharing a whiskey alongside their banter, you quickly feel at ease and at home in their company. I began with Burns' tribute to the Highlands, and I close with lines from another of his well-loved poems because they so beautifully express my love for Scotland. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, oh, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. Ladies and gentlemen, please charge your glasses and be upstanding and join me in a toast to Bonnie Scotland.
Scotland.
All right, I guess I'm next. And I will be brief. As many of you know, Scotland has 3 official languages: English, Scots, which is the language of Robert Burns, and Scottish Gaelic, or Gaelic. And I've been asked to give the toast tonight in Gaelic. So raise your glasses, ladies and gentlemen. I will be brief. Mahulala son a hoof. Iskunwa, eat your dawn a hoof. May all your days be happy and none of them bad. Sanjiva.
Wow, how do you follow that? You're lighting it up. Good evening, folks. It's my honor and pleasure to offer a toast to the lovely lassies. True, I'm a bachelor, but don't worry, I've done that happy wife and happy life thing, so I understand what I'm about to talk about. You know, they say that behind every great man is a great woman. In truth, I believe that behind every great man is a great woman, and often a skeptical mother-in-law who's rolling her eyes when we even speak of being great men. But then again, they usually roll their eyes when we speak of anything, even when we've been voluntold to speak. I see it now. Sherry Cashin and Jody Yerger are rolling their eyes right now. But does it really matter how much or how little we really speak, though, gentlemen? I mean, it seems no matter what we say, it's always misinterpreted. No, don't get ahead of yourselves, gents. That door swings both ways. Alas, it seems there are plenty of words and phrases in the King's English with both masculine and feminine meanings. For example, is that what you're wearing? Now, when those words are asked by a lad to a lassie, it's meant in the literal sense and requires nothing more than a simple yes or no. But its interpretation, though, is often an invitation to a fashion show and will almost certainly cause a delay in getting to your destination. So, fellows, proceed with caution if you think you're uttering that phrase. But now, when this question is asked by a lass of a lad, is that what you're wearing? It means that she has no intention of being seen in public with you in your present state. So you're sentenced to the life of a human mannequin until she's satisfied. And then there's, I've got a few errands to run. Now, when spoken by a lad, that means he's out of whiskey and he's going to the liquor store or the pub to get more. For the lassies, though, it means she'll be out all day shopping and you may want to pick up an extra shift or two to cover the expense. And also, you should be sure to run your errand before she runs hers. Finally, there's, I'm fine. For us, it means simply that I'm okay and require no further questioning. But lads, I believe we all know that when this is the most dreaded phrase of all. When you hear, I'm fine, it means you may as well set the DVR to record the football game because you're not going to watch the game. In fact, you won't be watching it at all. When you hear that phrase, you know that you've become a numpty at the very best, and you're in for a long and painful day of figuring out what you did wrong, because she probably won't tell you, and how much it's going to cost you to get it right. So in sum, whether you're the confused laddie or the usually annoyed lassie, or the mother-in-law who's aching to say, I tried to warn you, we can all agree, laddies, that we can barely live with the lassies, but heaven help us if we try to live without them. Laddies, please charge your glasses, remain upstanding, and join me in a toast to the lassies.
For those of you who may find it difficult to stand, please be seated just so that you can, not feel too much on your legs.
Thank you, Stu. What a great toast. So when Stu actually asked me to toast this evening, I am very busy because I'm an IT worker who actually works about 5 tickets, so I conveniently put it to the side because I technically kind of am a tomboy. So I do what men kind of do, and I put it to the nothing box, and I completely forgot about it. And so that nothing box you gentlemen have, that where you go and you just blank out, I know all about it. It's a great place. It's okay. Some of us understand. However, on the way here, Stu was a little bit right on the clothing. I had a mishap with a shirt that just did not work. And my husband basically talked me off a cliff. So, as I do best, and I actually have read a few of Robbie Burns' poems before I came here. One of the poems that he had was "A man's a man for that." And so, as a bard myself, I hijacked some of his lyrics, and I wrote a poem sitting at our table. For the times when we are sad, and we need a time to feel glad, a man's for man for that. For the laughter and the sighs, the times we roll our eyes, a man's for a man for that. For the tires flat on the road, or for the fixing of engines, and for the time the car needs to be towed, a man's man for that. For our days and our nights, for kilted or slacks, and sometimes in tight tights, a man's a man for that. To share the highs, to shoulder the lows, to see how hard he tries, a man's a man for that. A best friend, a secret keeper, an irritant, and a heartbreaker. To the call of the reaper, a man's a man for that. To the lads we have come to be the knights in not so shining armor, the ones who have talked us women down, who have been our fans and been our clowns. Let us raise a glass for the men who are men for that. For the men. Lads, sorry.
Please take your seats. As Alec touched on, this notation about the Constitution, as I sit here tonight, I feel that our country is in great peril. Our world is in great peril. We have the possibility of 4 different conflicts looming. With Syria and Iran, with China, with Russia, and that wingnut in North Korea. We all need to remember as veterans that we serve the Constitution. The Constitution does not serve us. I have been asked to do this toast, and as I look back on things, I see that old white men decide what goes on in this country. Old white men are controlling the country. To that end, I would like to introduce you to Colonel Victoria Reed, a 29-year veteran of the United States Air Force. And she will be making our toast.
Ladies and gentlemen, charge your glasses and be upstanding. Let's toast our veterans, those who are still alive, who served in World War II all the way up to our present time. And let's toast our troops in the United States, our troops around the world, and those troops tonight that are in harm's way. May they be safe, and may they make it home. To our veterans and our troops.
To our veterans.